feels like I'm somewhere.
All right, so Matt, what's up? Got Miami in the house. Matt, you still in Miami? Gonna wait for a few more people to join the conversation, and then we'll get started. Maybe a couple more people. Wow, Matt Callahan, good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. Everything's good out in Miami? We're doing well. We're in the Baltimore area now, so we tried to move away from Connecticut to a warmer area. Not as warm as Miami, but it helps. Oh, cool. Thank you. We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. I hope all is going well for you down there. Elizabeth, how are you?
Hey, Marisol. Hi, Lizbeth.
Marisol, Irene, Holly. Wow, we got Connecticut, we got Baltimore on the check-in, Miami on the check-in. Hey, Marisol. Marisol and what's her sister's name? The twin.
Rosa.
Rosa. Oh. Yeah, so Marisol and Rosa, the cute twins up there. I appreciate everything y'all do for me, especially Marisol. Rosa helped us figure out how to get people to drop us into their news feed first, so that's much appreciated.
Hey, Lizbeth.
Okay, so we gonna go ahead and get started. Hey, Holly. So, Rob Zimmerman, what's up, Rob? So we got Connecticut, Miami, Baltimore, Maryland in the house. So we want to go ahead and get started. First of all, we got some feedback from the last video. We thank you guys for your feedback. Rob, you know that you were one of the critical people, and coincidentally, the Thursday before, I was listening to this podcast by Napoleon Hill, and one thing he was talking about was people not being able to accept constructive criticism. So Rob, you probably noticed that when you sent me that text message, I didn't really freak out on you or anything like that, because I could have told you the KMA, but I didn't do that because I just happened to listen to that the day before. And one thing that he was saying was sometimes people's egos are too big to accept constructive criticism from friends. And you know, Rob, I've been knowing you for a while, so you know I'm not one of those dudes. So thanks, Irene. So with that said, Irene, I see you talk about lists. You might want to get lists out of the room, because I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth at any given time. All right, so if Liz is in the room, be ready to meet her ears. Rosa, there you are. Oh. All right, so a couple things. First of all, Rosa, Rob, my cousin Kevin, thank you guys for the feedback. Thank you guys for letting us know what we can do better to get our information out to people. So thank you guys so much for that. We really appreciate it. The next thing is, one of the people sent me a message inboxing me wanting to know more about our background. So before we get into the topic, I guess we can probably start with our background, right? You want to start? You want to start? Huh?
No, you can start.
You can start.
Okay, so our background meaning how we met.
No, well, start out from how you was raised. I think we should do that. What's your
Okay.
true background? I mean,
So I was raised by my mom. I lived with my mom ever since I was, I don't know, 3. Her and my dad separated, and then they got divorced. So it was me and my mom. But every weekend, Friday to Sunday, I went with my dad, my grandmother, and my dad's side of the family. And I was with my dad's side of the family on vacations in the summer, probably most major holidays. But we had grew up kind of in Hartford, but then we moved to Manchester. So I'm really from Manchester, which was, I guess, what was it at the time? 99% Caucasian. I was probably the only Puerto Rican in elementary school until I went to middle school. But, you know, I grew up with my mom, single family house. She was pretty strict, a lot of tough love. I don't know what else. What else do they want to know? What you think?
so you got your tough love, and then what happened? How'd you end up? How'd you end up with this knucklehead over here?
So I was about almost 15, and I met Julian through a mutual friend. But we grew up in a complex. You know, it was pretty safe where we grew up. We used to be outside, all the kids hanging around. So I met Julian by accident, Rob says. Well, we met through Michael Silman. Irene, I don't know if she's still out there. Me and Mike worked at a camp, and I was asking about Julian because I saw him a few times while I was going to the bus stop in the morning. And, you know, he introduced me. We started talking on the phone, and, you know, we met up with each other a few times. And, you know, whatever. We started dating. It was about 1.5 years. And, well, what happened? I got pregnant.
I don't think we need to go there yet.
Okay, well, you told me to let them know, so.
All right, let me jump in, okay? All right, so that's pretty much her story. My story is I pretty much come from one of the toughest projects in Hartford. I'm not sure if you guys, in Hartford, Connecticut, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with, Marisol 15. I wasn't robbing the cradle because I was
14.
17. All right. So we're 2 years apart. Just get it straight, Marisol. All right. So like I was saying, my history comes from, I pretty much come from one of the toughest housing projects in Hartford, Connecticut, which was called Stowe Village Housing Projects. It was on the north end of Hartford. My family was the Williams family. We was pretty much well known in that area because, I mean, they had decades of time there. I didn't grow up with my father, like Nene says that she had her father. My father didn't really come pick us up and do stuff like that. But however, you know, I was talking to Nene today about voids in your life, and one thing that happens with not having a father is not having one father led me to have several fathers, which would be both of my grandfathers. I had several uncles. And most of those guys, they took care of me and my brother. They definitely looked out for us. You know, if there was any trouble, especially my Uncle Frank, may Frank rest in peace, but something happened out there in the projects. Frank was the first one out there to come handle it, and I can't appreciate him more. Hopefully his daughters watch this, because Frank was kind of like my role model. And my Uncle Frank, he was one of the people in the projects that a lot of the kids wanted to be like. And then what ended up happening, strangely enough, with him being like my role model, is there was a guy named Anthony that I saw at a restaurant in Manchester, and he came up to me. He says, "Oh, you're Julian? I used to want to be like you." And the funny thing about it is, maybe about 6 months before, at my Uncle Frank's funeral, there was a guy that stood up and spoke at his funeral and said, and they used to call my Uncle Frank Butterbean, they used to say, "Hey, we wanted to be like Butterbean." So to hear that come from a friend, well, actually, I didn't even know the guy growing up, but somehow he knew who I was. And it's the same thing with the guy that was at my uncle's funeral. But to have that type of stuff happens, that means either he did a good job being my role model, or maybe I took a little too much from him. On the opposite side, my Uncle Frank was more of a ladies' man than I ever could be. Because fortunately I was able to meet this one right here. I know she sits there and she talks about how she saw me going to the bus stop, but I think it was the other way around, because she would pass by my window and I would see her come by, and I knew she was the one. But anyway, after we left the Stowe Village Housing Projects, we moved to Bloomfield. I went to school in Bloomfield. Then after spending a few years in Bloomfield, we moved to Manchester. Moving to Manchester, me and Nydia, she lived down the street from me. We lived in the same neighborhood, and we ended up linking up that way, right? And through Mike Silman. And Mike Silman, we are forever grateful for our relationship. We do appreciate everything that you did. So Mike, I hope you're watching this, and if not, Irene, please show Mike this video, because we are forever grateful. So fast forward now, 30 years since 1989. So now that we got
1989.
Yeah, 1989. That was Public Enemy came out that year, right?
Public Enemy. That was, and the other movie came out.
Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing.
That wasn't the first movie I took you to on a date, was it?
No, you took somebody else to that movie.
Anyway. Like I was saying.
Because we didn't talk till the end of the summer of '89.
I thought it was the middle of the summer, because I had just got dumped by the girl that I was talking to.
But that movie came out like before the end of the school year, I think. Anyways, come on, they're laughing at us.
So anyway, that's pretty much the history. I know my cousin Kevin was talking about what did it mean not to have a father in my life, and I'm just going to put it to you like this, to sum that up. Kevin, if you catch this video, is not having...
Rob, we can't give no names out. It's just me and Julian. That's it, and our kids.
Her name was Jennifer Zimmerman. Just kidding, Rob. You know I love you. So anyway, where was I? What was I talking about?
I forgot.
See, Rob is throwing me off. Not getting. So I got, after getting dumped, I met up with her. We got together, and my cousin Kevin. So my cousin Kevin, hopefully you're watching this, and I'm gonna just tell you about not having a father in my life. I think not having a father in my life made me older mentally than it probably should have been, because not having a father in a kid's life right off the bat tells you that you need to step up and man up and fill that void. So hopefully every dad understands that. When you are not in the house, especially with a son, that son feels like he has to man up and fill your void, no doubt. You know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of young fellas can relate. However, even though we stepping up as men to fill a father's void, we still have to find that respect for our mothers. And like even with my mother, and I know my mother's going to watch this, and she'll tell you quick that I still think I'm the man of the house. I still think I run things. However, you know, it's not having that father figure in the house. And, you know, I mean, even learning how to shave, even learning how to talk to girls. I mean, I still remember hanging out with my brother and learning what an attractive lady looks like versus what ugly ladies look like. I mean, all of this stuff is taught. So without a doubt, Kevin, hopefully you're watching this. It does impact a young kid's mind that does not have a father figure in the house. So Kevin, hopefully that answered your question. I thank you so much for sending me that inbox. And I'm pretty sure we're going to circle back on that, because there's going to be more to come. Especially, I think my kids are going to be doing lives, so you guys can catch their feelings on being our kids. So, and especially Chellis. I think Chellis's live might be interesting, because she's the oldest, and she was truly the first kid of a teenage parent in a relationship like this. And I don't want to spoil anything she has to say, but I'm pretty sure that you're going to find her view of our relationship is quite interesting. You think? Mm-hmm. Okay. So with that said, we want to jump to the topic about our roles as a husband, my role as a father, her role as a wife, and her role as a mother. So, babe, you could go ahead.
So, I mean, I think the role of a mother slash wife, spouse is kind of the same. It evolves over time. You're a nurturer. You try to teach your kids love. You're a negotiator at times. I don't know. I think we need to talk together, but I don't know. It's all different. Like, my kids are older now, so my youngest is 17. So, you know, I don't have little kids that need help anymore. They don't need me to kiss their boo-boos anymore. You know, I have one daughter who doesn't really like to show affection. So, you know, all three kids are different. You have to learn how to talk to each one of them differently. You know, I think now where I was a nurturer, maybe more so, and you know, you want to protect your children a lot, where you always still want to protect your children, but now I'm more of like a confidant. Like, they know I'm their mother, but they also know I'm their best friend. They know they could come to me with any questions or concerns that they have, and I'm always here to try to help them. They don't always like what I have to say. I'm a little bit of a tough love. You know, a lot of people, you know us, there's some Latinas out there, you know how we are. You know, my facial expressions, I may not say it, but they know what I'm thinking when they see my face. So, you know, I love them. I always push them. I always, you know, try to give them the best advice that I could give them. But I'm very much, like I say, tough love. I grew up with tough love, I guess. So, you know, that's where I come from. And they always know that I'm here for them. Sometimes they say I hurt their feelings. And, you know, then I go back around and I say I'm sorry. And, you know, try to hug them. But I think my role is, as a mom, is a nurturer. A mediator sometimes. I think growing up with the kids, with Julian, sometimes you have to get in the middle there, mediate sometimes, which, you know, kind of puts a strain sometimes on me and him, because he thinks I might be sticking up for the kids, but...
And you are.
I am, because I'm a mother. You know, you always want to protect your children, but you have to learn how to mediate sometimes. You have to learn where you can say something and where you might not want to say something right now. You know, wait until the next day. But, you know, we learn as we go. I think a lot of it is with me and Julian. Like I said, our parents were single. So we don't really know what it was like to grow up with two parents in the household. So it was rough at times, you know. He was raised a lot different than me too. Julian communicates with his mom. They could talk about anything. That was not the case in my house. My house, whatever your mother said, that's it. There's no discussion. That's the end of the story. You just move on. So, I think sometimes I don't communicate as much as Julian, but I hope that I'm learning and I'm doing a little bit better, but it's still, you know, I'm still evolving.
Yeah, you are. So what she said kind of reminds me of one of the things that we're supposed to talk about is why did we choose to create this page and why are we doing this? Well, obviously one is to inspire. Another reason is because to let people know, because, you know, when we put our vacation pictures up, we put our pictures up of when we're hanging out and all of that stuff, and that's what everybody shows on Facebook, right? But we're letting people know that, for one, our family is not perfect as people would like to maybe think it is, and that's, like I said, this is live, it's uncut, it's raw, is not rehearsed. So forgive us if we stutter, but I'm just being truthful. However, we do try to have more good times than bad times, right? So you want the good times to outweigh the bad times, and you want your bad times to last only for a small second. So with that said, I'll jump into my role as a husband and a father. Okay, so I guess my job as a husband and a father. Okay, Dre, what up? We got Chicago in the house. My role as a husband and a father is to basically do the opposite of what Nydia does with the kids. She's the nurturer, I'm the disciplinarian, okay? She's the kid's best friend, I'm the one that the kids fear the most, okay? So I'm gonna tell you that right now. I love my kids without a doubt, I love them to death, but I don't feel it's my job to really be their best friend. It's my job to be their father first. It's my job to make sure that the world does not take my kids. And what I mean by the world taking my kids is, you know, especially with social media, you see kids getting shot, you see kids having all these fight videos, and like, to avoid all of that, and it's almost like Chris Rock said, your job as a father is really to keep your kids off the pole, okay? So you want to make sure your kids, as a father, you want to make sure your kids really do the best that they can. So one thing that Nydia didn't mention as a wife that I really must say that I truly appreciate from her is she supports me 100%. All the crazy shit that I do, all the crazy shit that I come up with, she's behind me 110%, no matter what the cost is, okay? So if I want to start a business, which I have, she's there behind me, okay? When we have our real estate investments, and we're there painting houses or cleaning up houses, she's there with me. It's my idea, but she's my support system, okay? So I think as a father and a man in the house, it's really part of your job to come up with ideas to make sure that your family survives. No matter how crazy it is, no matter if you fail or don't fail. And I think as a wife, you should support your husband's ideas no matter what the cost, because at the end of the day, you have to know that everything is going to be all right. As a father, as a husband, you need to make sure that at the end of the day, everything is going to be all right, no matter what the cost. That's what a leader does. So if you want people to follow you, you need to make sure that you get up early, you go to sleep late, and you do what you need to do, and not even count the cost, okay? Counting the cost is to me is like a big mistake, and also going tit for tat, okay? So
I have to be your biggest cheerleader.
You have to.
I forgot that.
Yeah,
I'm also behind you when you want to do something. I may say, "Oh, what is he coming up with now?"
But
I always push you. I try to help you where I can, and you're right. I don't like painting, but I help.
Right. So at the end of the day, somehow things magically come together, and I think in our relationship that all the pieces come together, things get picked up, and then the universe kind of comes in our favor. You know what I'm saying? So we do have opposites, like they say, opposites attract. Was that the song that came out? I think Paul Abdul had that song when we met that year, right, or the year before.
Probably.
So there's some truth in opposites attract, but like I said, most of all, I feel my role as a father is to be that go-getter. Okay, even if she doesn't, and also my role as a father is to pull the family. So for instance, when I started going to the gym, the family didn't want to go to the gym. She didn't want to go to the gym. The kids didn't want to go to the gym. Well, guess what? Now the whole family goes to the gym. They don't need me to say, okay, now we got to get up and go to the gym. They're doing this on their own, and you know, hopefully they see the benefits of it. And also, like even with my kids, you know, some of you guys know that my kids have their own businesses now. And that's part of me trying to show them how to become entrepreneurs. And we'll have another video as to why we're trying to have our kids be entrepreneurs, because we think, and that's another reason why we started this channel, is because we want to get the word out, especially for people who are minorities, because I mean there's a lot of us that are minorities that are kind of tardy to the party. And you know, some of you guys may or may not know, but I'm an IT person, and as an IT person, the key thing for me is to be up on the latest and greatest. And for me to be up on the latest and greatest and not share that with my kids, it just doesn't make sense. And for me to be up on the latest and greatest and not share it with the world just doesn't make sense, especially minority people, people of color, to that effect. So, do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
No. Okay. So, guys, we are taking questions. If you have any questions, can you please drop them into the comment box, and we will start addressing questions. Again, we want to thank you guys for joining us. It really means a lot. We really do appreciate you guys taking the time. What we want to do is we want to, you know, continue to break these up into segments, because we know some, especially like this time, you guys are probably cooking. Some of you guys are probably going to the gym yourself. And I know people like Robert and Andre have the attention span of a 6-year-old. So trying to have these things go for a long time is just not going to work out for people like that. No, sir. I'm just kidding, guys. And it's funny. It's 2126. So, Matt, I don't know if you know Robert and Andre, but I think they came after you left. So I don't know if you guys are friends on Facebook, but you guys might want to link up. And that's another thing is 2126. I think the kids that I played with in 2126 is Manchester Memorial Hospital. That's where I used to supervise some kids. And one thing that I learned is being the best you can make you like become people's mentor without you noticing. So I'll give an example is that I have a group of young guys and that I text pretty much every day. Some stuff is foul that I can't mention, and some stuff are gems. And one of these guys is watching. His name is Rob. And Rob, you know you mean the world to me. But to hear Rob say things that, like, I'm his mentor, and that our relationship is like a mentor for him and his wife, I mean, at that point, you just get floored, because all you're trying to do is be the best person that you can be.
He got jokes.
Yeah, there he is. And Rob, we're not going to talk again. Rob, you're going to... Okay, so Susan, our daughter's business. So we have, my oldest daughter's business is coming along pretty well. And what she does is she does consulting for people's budgets, and she helps the people around her area up in Hartford with their budgets. My younger kids, because they're younger, they're still kind of striving to get some business because they're younger, and people up older, it's like a gap there that we have to try to work on bridging to try to get them clients to help them with their business. But they're working on it. They're not giving up. We're just trying to make them become high performing individuals. So they're working on it, and they do everything day by day. They've only been at it for a few months, so they're taking some time. Also, if you know anybody who's looking for any social media help, they're the ones that you want to come to on that, because they're younger, they understand the stuff like the back of their hand. And it's my understanding that social media is helping a lot of companies make a grip, real estate agents. Okay, thanks, Susan. Hey, Tanya, got more Connecticut in the house. We appreciate you guys joining us. That's my big cousin, Tanya, that just joined. Thank you for joining us. So anything else you want to add?
No, I think they probably want our full story, but we won't go into that today, I guess.
You want to go into do you guys want to know the full story? Put a yes and a couple likes, and we can go into the depth of how we became teenage parents and what happened after the pregnancy. If you guys want to know that part, let's get some, if you guys want to send up a like or put something in the box, and we can go into that if you wish.
I think this is good.
You think that's good? Do you want to circle back? Okay, so Rob says he wants it all step by step. Marisol says yes.
Wasn't Rob there?
Rob wasn't there on the birth. Okay.
I feel like he was.
Break it down. Okay, Marisol. All right, so you can put your version, and then I'll put my version, and somewhere between there is the truth. Hey, Nicole.
Well, we told him that we met in Squire Village in Manchester. I don't even know. I finished 8th grade, right? It was that summer. I was going into 9th grade and you were going into 12th grade. At the time, though, in Manchester, 9th grade wasn't in the high school. It was still at middle school. So it probably sounds even worse than what we're saying, because I was in 9th grade and he was in 12th grade. But I stayed back in 1st grade because my first language was Spanish. And when I went to school, I was very shy. I didn't want to talk. So the teachers didn't think I knew anything. So they asked my mother if I should stay back, and she said yes. So we met through Michael Silman on the phone, and then we started talking. Our first date was at one of the church carnivals in East Hartford. Mm-hmm. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're on the same page with that. But we started talking, was a year and a half later, I think, when I got pregnant with Chellis. Am I missing a lot of stuff in between?
So, no, it was about 2 years.
About 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah, about 2 years, because Chellis was born 3 years after.
In 92?
92.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's her version. So you guys want the truth?
That is the truth.
Okay. So to add to what she was saying,
I mean, there's a lot in between there. We need a whole separate segment for all that.
Well, let's just jump on to okay, so just to add to that, how the universe works things out is she came to me and we linked up right after I had just got dumped by the girl that I was dating before, and we'll keep her anonymous. So she, like I talked about not having a father. Well, it's the same thing about like not having a girlfriend. One girl leaves, another girl comes. But again, when she came along and I found out she had interest in me, I mean, I was blown away, because like I said before, earlier on, I would see her passing by my window, and I think that's when, deep inside I knew she was the one. So, and it was just something about her, the way she carried herself, even at a young age, that was showing me that, she was the one. Okay, so now let's fast forward to the pregnancy. So she got pregnant. I didn't really understand what that meant at the time. Regardless to what type of education you get, but I didn't really understand what it meant, because as a guy, and I'm going to just, like I said, we're going to keep it 100 on here, uncut, okay? I was a virgin until I met her, period. So not even knowing my body 100%, I didn't even know that I could really make babies or how to make babies. All I knew is it was sex and it felt good, okay? So when you see, sperm, you don't look and think baby. When you see sperm, you think sex, right? So if you guys see some of my posts about the Spice Channel, that's all you see. You don't think babies, you think sex. So when she told me she was pregnant, I was kind of in a fog about it. But I knew one thing for sure is I always said I didn't have a father. This kid is not going to go without a father. It was basically over my dead body would my kid go without a father, because I knew the impact of me not having a father, what it would mean. However, on the other side, I kind of felt that I had her trapped. So she had no choice but to be with me the rest of her life. No, I'm only kidding. But seriously, my main goal was to take care of my kids, and if she still wanted to be with me, then my main goal was to take care of the kids and take care of her and do what I can do for her. So, and the kids. So after she found out she was pregnant, baby was on the way, and she ended up moving in with me and my mother. And again, to my mother, Mom, if you're watching this, we are forever grateful for all the things that you have done for us. I cannot say that enough, okay? So, she moved in with me and my mother, and Chellis was born. And when Chellis was born, there was times that my mother would look at me, and my mother would catch me looking at Chellis, and I would be looking at Chellis, and my mother would say, Julian, will you stop looking at that girl like she ain't real? Because to me, it was a dream. And I guess it was a dream come true. And, you know, if you guys see Chellis is beautiful. She's our beautiful daughter. We're not just saying that because she's our daughter, but because she really is. And, again, being in that fog and understanding how your body worked the first time, the first baby coming out, knowing that you want to be with that baby with all your heart, it's just no better feeling. I'm telling you, it's no better feeling. So, you know, that was my role as a father. So hopefully that she's a saint. Rob, are you serious right now? Y'all think she's a saint. Like I said, I said this on the first video. You guys think you know, but you have no idea, okay? You guys think she's a saint, but, you know, she can have her time. She's Latina. Do you think Latinas are saints? I mean, seriously. So, do you guys have any other questions before we log off? I think the next one we're going to do, we're going to jump into, what do you want to jump into next?
How about they could tell us what they want us to jump into next, or what did you
Okay.
want to jump into? School?
So, well, like I said in the first video, we could talk about credit. We could talk about our credit. We can talk about our vacations. We could talk about how we afford our vacations. Mm-hmm. We can talk about our real estate, how we got into real estate, how real estate is doing for us, if you guys want to hear about that.
That's right, Abraham. Hi, Puerto Rico in the house. Wepa!
Rob, you want to talk about Lambos? Oh, Dre, you want to talk about weight loss? Okay, that's another thing. So if you guys follow my page, you guys are probably seeing, because, you know, she doesn't post as many shirtless photos for obvious reasons than I do. Okay, and then I also post all of the photos with sweets and
Yes.
liquor and all the stuff that would make the average person overweight. So we can get into how I managed to, or how we managed to not put on weight and still enjoy life, if you will. Okay, so
Yep.
Dre, we will cover that in another episode, so you got to tune in. We will cover it in somewhat in depth, because Dre, you already know part of the recipe, all right, and we'll cover the full recipe. Rob, you want to talk about Lambos? What do you want to know about the Lambos? How it drives? How much it costs? how to do a refinance and afford one? What you want to know, Rob? I wish he would. Okay. So any other questions before we log off? So again, we appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for your time. Hopefully this is constructive. Hopefully we're going to add some value, because we are still on the surface. So once we start getting into the guts is going to come when we talk about how we see things going forward for children. Mm-hmm. The guts is going to come when we talk about more in depth of how we're raising our kids. We're not trying to tell people how to raise their kids, but we are going to make some suggestions to parents out there as to what might need to be done for these new millennial kids. Okay. All right, Susan, thanks for joining us. See you next time. So hopefully you guys can join us. Hopefully this will bring some value, and I think you guys are going to be a little bit shocked to hear what we got to say about that. So again, thank you guys. We are signing out, and you guys have an awesome evening. Okay, thank you.
Bye.